A detailed look at Canon's new professional DSLR. Updates to Canon's 1D series professional DSLRs are rare enough to count as something of an event. The new EOS 1DX Mark II replaces not only the EOS 1DX, launched back in 2011, but also the 4K video-focused EOS 1DC of 2012, improving on both. The timing, hot on the heels of the Nikon D5, is of course no coincidence. Both are designed for professional sports photography, and 2016 sees the biggest event of all, the Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro, along with the European Championships football. The two cameras are designed to give an edge to sports photographers vying for the perfect shot of the victorious athlete, or the winning goal. With this in mind, let's take a look at the EOS 1DX Mark II's headline features. Anyone looking at the new model for the first time might think it's quite a minor update, so similar are the bodies, but inside the reality is very different. Every major system of the camera has been updated and upgraded to improve the chance of catching the peak action. First of all, there's the sensor, which includes a number of firsts for Canon. It's a 20.2 million pixel full-frame CMOS sensor that's the firm's first to use on-chip analog-to-digital conversion. Canon says that by shortening the signal pathways used when reading the signal off the sensor, this should result in lower noise, with the main benefit being increased dynamic range and cleaner shadows at low ISOs. This sounds similar to Sony's recent sensors, and it would be great to see Canon matching them in this respect. It's also the first Canon full-frame sensor to have dual pixel f, as previously seen on the EOS 70D and 7D Mark II. This splits each pixel into two light-gathering segments, allowing on-chip phase detection autofocus across 80% of the image area with all Canon lenses released after 2009. It operates in live view and during video recording, aiming to give smooth focus pulls from one subject to another. For this the transition speed can be adjusted, and subjects can be selected by tapping on the camera's touch screen. For normal viewfinder shooting, the autofocus system has also been completely overhauled. The number of focus points is unchanged at 61, of which 41 are cross-type sensitive to both horizontal and vertical detail. But now, all of these focus points will work with lenses that have an effective aperture of f/8, which is great news for photographers who use long telephoto lenses with teleconverters. What's more, 21 of them continue to work as cross-type points at f/8. And the system also works in light levels as low as 3f. Focus points can be displayed in the viewfinder either black, or red with user-controllable brightness. To keep track of moving subjects, Canon has introduced a new AI Servo F3+ mode. An adaptive motion tracking system uses the gyro sensors in image-stabilized lenses to measure the camera's movements while following the subject, determining whether the subject is moving smoothly or erratically. This information is then fed into the focus tracking algorithm. There's a new 360,000 pixel RGB plus I.R. metering sensor too, which can detect subjects' faces and feed this to the F system, determine the type of lighting, and perform flicker detection when shooting under fluorescent light. The camera offers a standard sensitivity range of ISO 100 to 51200. Which can be extended to ISO 50 to 409,600. With dual Digic 6 Plus processors on board, it can shoot at fully 14 frames per second using the optical viewfinder, complete with autofocus tracking. Switch to live view and the speed increases even further to 16 fps, although with focus and exposure locked after the first shot. A massive 170-shot RAW buffer allows it to keep this rate up for more than 10 seconds before slowing down. A quiet continuous shooting mode is capable of 5 fps, for use in more sensitive environments, however the latest EOS 5D series models are still noticeably quieter. The shutter is rated to 400,000 cycles, or a shade less than 8 hours full-speed shooting. Working at such high speeds requires huge amounts of data to be stored quickly. To this end the 1DX Mark II adds a fast card slot alongside conventional compact flash, rather than having two CF card slots like its predecessor. A fast card is also required for 4K video recording at high bit rates. Canon EOS 1DX Mark II, Build and Handling. As a professional workhorse, the EOS 1DX Mark II needs to be able to accept serious abuse, and it has the same rugged, weatherproofed build as its predecessor. The external design and control layout is almost identical, too, which means existing EOS 1DX owners will be able to pick it up and start using it right away. Indeed, it's testament to how well worked out the 1D series control interface has become that the most noticeable change is the addition of Canon's standard Live View/video controller beside the viewfinder. There are a few other detail changes. The F-point selector joysticks are a little larger, the raised ridge between the front plate custom buttons has been removed, and the vertical grip is deeper. Both grips also gain noticeably thicker, more tactile rubber coatings that make the camera feel even better in your hand. First impressions. From our time hands-on with the camera prior to its official launch, the EOS 1DX Mark II is every bit as impressive as its £5,199 price tag might suggest. It may not have the 153-point f4 ISO 3,280,000 of the Nikon D5, but on the other hand it can shoot 2 FPS faster and record 4K video internally for much longer time. In truth, both are astonishingly capable cameras, with differences that will only really show up in incredibly demanding shooting situations. This kind of camera also gives enthusiast photographers a hint of the technology that might make its way down the line to more affordable models on the not-too-distant future, and in this regard Canon's adoption of on-sensor ADC is a promising development. We're looking forward to seeing what benefits it brings, along with much more besides, in our upcoming